Hey y'all, and good morning. It is morning time, and by the time this is posted, I don't know if it'll still be morning, but good morning because it's morning now. Um, I have, if you've been watching me on TikTok, I say that because I'm posting this to TikTok and YouTube. I have been on this journey to get closer to Christ. I've been on this journey for years, y'all, longer than what y'all are now seeing. I have, strayed. I have fallen off the path so many times. But now I feel like I'm where I need to be, where God wants me to be. And so it's just, I'm learning so many things about just living as a Christian, and being a Christian. And so one of the things that I have focused on is the way that I dress. So I think about a month ago, I went through my closet and I got rid of everything that was just like, no, that was too revealing. Because I'm a dresses kind of woman, okay? Your girl loves dresses. Like that's where I'm at. And I do have a haul coming for y'all soon of some dresses and swimwear. I had to get rid of my swimsuits too. So, but today's topic is head coverings. That is something that I thought was only something that Muslim women did. And I realized that's not the case. There are Christians who veil. And so I was like, okay then, let me look into that and see like what that's about. And y'all, it's the more I learn, I feel like the more I am feeling full, if that makes sense. Like I feel like I'm so close to God, so close to Christ right now, and I want to be even closer. So when it comes to veiling, I'm using my Holman Illustrated Bible Dictionary, and I do have that linked in my Amazon shop where all the links are. And I looked up covering the head. So it doesn't just have words in here, it has phrases in here. Y'all, if y'all don't have a Bible dictionary, highly recommend getting one because it saves you time from going and looking on Google. It saves so much time. So covering the head in 1 Corinthians 11, 1 through 16. And we know that 1 Corinthians is one of the letters that Paul wrote to the church of Corinth, the Corinthian church. So 1 Corinthians contributes greatly to our understanding of the Christian life, ministry, and relationships by showing us how the members of the church, Christ's body, are to function together. Paul gave specific solutions to specific problems, but the underlying answer to them all is for the church and its members to live Christ-centered lives. And for women veiling, that's a part of it. And I was just like, y'all, like I'm okay. I was like, okay, so this is going to help me to live a Christian life, to better live a Christian life. I am heavily in the New Testament, y'all, because I am going to read the Old Testament, but the New Testament is like how things need to be today. And that's where I'm trying to be so that I can also teach that to my son. So, yes. Now, in the Holman Dictionary, it says in 1 Corinthians 11, 1 through 16, Paul dealt with the matter of covering the head in worship services. This extended treatment shows that this must have been a subject of considerable interest in Corinth. The Jewish custom was for all women to cover their heads with a veil when they went outside their homes. To appear in public without a veil was a sign of immodesty and lack of virtue. To appear in a worship service without a veil was unthinkable. And I grew up in a Baptist church, and whenever we did communion, every woman and girl that had been baptized, you were required to cover your head before you took communion. So if you didn't have a head covering, then you had not been baptized. And I was just like, okay, we did that then, but then we stopped. Like I noticed that it stopped. It didn't last very long. So I was like, oh, okay. And that always stuck in my head, like, why? So I was like, okay, that let me keep going. Some of the Corinthian Christian women had evidently appeared in worship without a veil on their heads. Perhaps they had understood Paul's emphasis on Christian freedom to mean that they no longer had to observe any of the old Jewish customs, including that of wearing a veil. The effects of such a change in dress style have been disruptive to the worship services and Christian witness in church in Corinth. This led Paul to state that a woman should cover her head during the worship service. At the same time, he encouraged the men to follow the Jewish custom of worshiping with uncovered heads. Paul cited various reasons in 1 Corinthians 11:1 through 16 for his position. He referred to 1, the order in creation, verse 3, 2, social customs of the time, verses 4 through 6, 3, the presence of angels, verses 10, 4, nature itself, verses 13 through 15, and 5, the common practice in the churches, verse 16. The principle here is that Christians must be sensitive to the cultures in which they live. They should not needlessly flout local customs unless there is some moral reason to do so. To be insensitive to the culture in which one lives causes one to offend many of the people whom the church is trying to win to Jesus Christ. Now, in today's time, when you go to countries in the Middle East, you are required to practice their customs. Like, that is disrespectful for you to go over there and to just be acting like you live in America. Let me get off my soapbox. Listen, because I know I've seen people online who talk about, well, why should I have to do this when I go there? Well, don't go there. If you're not going to follow their customs, don't go there. Don't be disrespectful. It diverts attention away from the most important thing and focuses it on peripheral matters. And it also says, see Corinth woman worship. So, one thing that I noticed is that, and I want to take a second here to specifically talk about Black women and their hair. We get scrutinized so much for our hair because our hair grows differently. And just not even Black women, but Black men too, who grow out their hair. Because our hair does not grow like people who are not Black, our hair grows out. It sprouts, okay? It grows towards the sun. We don't control that. We have always been talked about our hair, that our hair was nappy, that our hair was unruly. Why is our hair such a distraction for other people? Why? Like, why is hair, period, such a distraction for other people? Like, why do you care about someone else's hair? And I feel like with veiling, that is still going to bring more attention to you because people are going to think, oh, you're veiling, that you must be Muslim. No, that's not how that works. And that is the thoughts of ignorant people. So I want to read 1 Corinthians 11:1 through 16. Now, I am reading from the She Reads Truth Bible, which is the Christian Standard Bible. You may have a different version. That's not my business. All right. Now, this is titled Instructions About Head Coverings. Now, I praise you because you remember me in everything and hold fast to the traditions just as I delivered them to you. But I want you to know that Christ is the head of every man, and the man is the head of the woman, and God is the head of Christ. Every man who prays or prophesies with something on his head dishonors his head, because Christ is the head of every man. Like, you're dishonoring Christ. Every woman who prays or prophesies with her head uncovered dishonors her head, since that is one and the same as having her head shaved. And this is also why I have made the conscious decision to never cut my hair again. If you know me personally, you know I am prone to cutting my hair at any given time without notice. So I made that decision back in December of 2023. That was the last time that I got my hair cut. So moving forward, I will just be going to get my hair trimmed, like the split ends, make sure it's healthy. For if a woman doesn't cover her head, she should have her hair cut off. But if it is disgraceful for a woman to have her hair cut off, her head shaved, let her head be covered. So for me, my head's going to be covered because I'm not cutting my hair. I'm not. And now that helps me to understand why in some cultures women do not cut their hair. And it's like the more I read the Bible, the more I learn about the things that I used to have such ignorant thoughts about. And I'm now realizing, like, no, Maniqua, you can't think like that. A man should not cover his head because he is the image and glory of God. So too, woman is the glory of man. For man did not come from woman, but woman came from man. Neither was man created for the sake of woman, but woman for the sake of man. This is why a woman should have a symbol of authority on her head because of the angels. In the Lord, however, woman is not independent of man, and man is not independent of woman. For just as woman came from man, so man comes through woman, giving birth. Listen. And all things come from God. Y'all, the Bible is just so... I can't explain it. Like, you have to read it for yourself to understand why it gives me so much joy. Judge for yourselves. Is it proper for a woman to pray to God with her head uncovered? Does not even nature itself teach you that if a man has long hair, it is a disgrace to him, but that if a woman has long hair, it is her glory? For her hair is given to her as a covering. If anyone wants to argue about this, we have no other custom, nor do the churches of God. So if you want to argue, like, there's no argument. There's no other. It's one way. That's it. That's all. So, yes, I have decided to veil, and I will continue to veil and pray and really just study the word and learn as much as I can about the things that I need to do for myself, because I don't want to be so focused on my outward appearance. Like, I feel as though people talk about modesty, they're just talking about clothing, like the outer appearance. Well, modesty also comes from within. And typically how we feel within shows on the outside. That's how clothes tie in. Y'all, I could do like a whole series, like a longer video just about that. But yeah, I have decided to veil. And I feel like God has been telling me to veil because of how much I have been seeing women veil on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube. I'm like, okay, God, I get it. I get the picture. I understand. So that is all that I have for y'all. Thank y'all for watching. And if you are here rocking with me on this journey, please leave a comment. I'm here for, my sisters and brothers in Christ. We are all on a journey. And it is a journey that has only one destination, the gates of heaven. But while we're here on earth, it's a journey. There's no destination here on earth. It is not. So I will see y'all in my next video.